Okay.
We all right.
All right. Now, for me to get to the let's see.
I'm looking.
We good so far.
Okay. Okay. We trying something new today. Let's see.
I'm just trying to see if I can mute this my personal account.
Okay. Or turn it down.
Yeah, I might just do that.
Hmm.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. I'm nervous. I don't know why.
We all right.
I'm nervous.
It's all good right now.
My heart, my
All
heart
right,
is
everyone.
pounding. I don't know why.
I'm gonna be transparent. We're trying something new today, and so we are live streaming not only from Instagram, but we're also live streaming off Twitter. So this is like new for us. So that's why you see me looking to the side and to the front because it's two different angles that are hitting me right now. But we're trying it out. We're trying to, reach more people that need this information. So this is what we're doing to get this information to everybody. So
Bluetooth pairing.
oh, bear with us today. And yeah.
All right. Okie dokie. I think we should be fine.
We gonna see. I mean, we out here testing things right now.
All right. Well, welcome. Okay, hold on. Let me get my. Let's get the notes up. Get the notes up. All right. Well, y'all see me from far back here because obviously, like Shantae said, we trying to do something new today. But welcome to obviously our weekly recap. Um, we are always blessed to be here. I hope y'all went outside today because outside was very beautiful
Absolutely.
today. We had about 80-degree weather, so could have took a walk, went outside, mingled, and did all of that. I definitely did. Got a chance to see some family today, so very excited about that. And yeah, this is our weekly recap. We've been going bi-weekly because I've been having the opportunity to do some stuff in the community, so it's probably going to be like that for the entirety of the summer. Me and Shantae are very, very big on community and community building. So, we do our best to kind of
Power off.
Oh, okay. We do we do our best to to just be, positive role models in the community. So again, thank you for coming. We are 21 Titles. My name is Brittany, and this is obviously my lovely co-host.
Shantae, I'm waving to both cameras.
Right. And together we make up, like I said, 21 Titles. We are a consultancy firm creating equity through community and collaboration. And, that simply means that we like to work within our community. We like to bring, I guess, the economic side to our community as well as just being positive influences. We try to do this first and foremost with integrity. And, we're building out a platform that's going to enable student athletes and their parents to have resources to kind of navigate the new student athlete lifestyle. So essentially, every week we try to do these weekly lives to kind of keep our community in the know about obviously women's sports because both of us are former student athletes. Also, NIL, with the passing of the name, image, and likeness policy, student athletes are now able to monetize their name, image, and likeness. So we talk about all the deals and the different things that's happening in that realm. We're also very heavy into technology. So Web3 and what encompasses that, which is basically just simply the next iteration of what the internet will look like or is. And lastly, we kind of finish it up with some type of culture news that incorporates business. So all these different things we put into this weekly show so that we can, just offer this as a resource. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll have you here for about 80 to 90 minutes, and we hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah. I'm like,
Right. Which one? Which one?
it's gonna be both today. This is what it is. So we're gonna start off. We usually start off with sports news, and so since we haven't been on live in 2 weeks, there's been a lot going on with the WNBA. If nobody knows, the WNBA season has started, and it's been going pretty good. The games have been really good. But before we get into the games, we wanted to talk about all the waivers that has been going on. Bria Beal, Alexis Morris. I'm sure y'all all have seen that. They all got waived. We posted on our stories, I think it was last week or the week before, really just to gauge how the people feel about, the WNBA and expansion and, needing more spots. And it seemed like we were all in agreement with the WNBA needing to, look forward or work towards expansion and then also increasing the spots available on the team. I did not get the opportunity to play professional basketball. That wasn't in my ministry after school. Brittany did, so I had a lot of questions for Brittany just watching this kind of unfold. Brittany, did you want to talk a little bit about just, things that obviously you knew early on, because that's something that you were interested in actually moving forward with?
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, like we said, right, the WNBA has to expand, whether they're going to do that on the roster side or they're going to do that on the team side. I think the easiest thing for them right now is to probably expand the rosters.
Yeah.
It's only 12 teams and there's only 12 spots per team. So that's only 144 spots. That's
Super
not
limited.
a lot. That's not a lot at all. So I'm thinking for a boost in the roster spots, but also, yeah, I feel like, in my opinion, a lot of these girls got cut because these coaches are not willing to essentially invest in the new crop of players that are coming in, and they rather go with vets because obviously it's a limited season and they're trying to win,
Right.
essentially.
Right.
So, and that kind of spurs me on to say maybe the WNBA needs to create some type of like developmental league for the young ladies, essentially, who get cut and who need, you know, who need extra development, because once you move up in level, obviously the players are much faster, players are also much stronger,
Yeah.
and you have to adapt to the different rules that are in place. So that's always going to be like an adjustment period. So giving them an opportunity to do that, you know, in suitable fashion would be nice for them, because look, we always complain how like it's the WNBA draft and then a week later it's the season starts.
Right.
Right.
I
So
didn't realize it was that close, really, until this season. I
right.
was like, oh, that's crazy. They don't really get an
Right.
opportunity to rest.
So that's always been something that I've, you know, kind of put my eyebrows up to, because
hmm
it's the turnaround is just too quick for them, right? For them being in a new spot, and trying to get into a new league. But yeah, and then, you know, I was also kind of just taken aback because Alexis Morris put out an apology statement.
And
Um,
you took the words right out of my mouth because I was going to get to it. So whoever doesn't know, you know, like we just mentioned, Alexis Morris got cut from the LA Sparks. She was drafted in the second round. I don't remember the number, but she was drafted in the second round nonetheless. She got cut from the LA Sparks and then went and made like a funny TikTok video, essentially saying like, yeah, we got cut, but we can all, you know, go overseas and be like and create a super team so that we can, you know, make money over there and still play ball over there. I personally didn't see anything wrong with what she said, considering what Brittany just, you know, covered, which is like that the WNBA lacks enough spots on teams, and then there just being a lack of teams, not enough teams. And so I didn't find anything wrong with what she said, but apparently, you know, according to her apology, it seemed like a couple of players may have found issue with what she said. And so this week, literally probably about a few days ago, a day or two ago, she issued an apology. And I don't think she necessarily needed to do that. I'm interested in knowing who took offense to what she said. It's not like everybody doesn't know that the WNBA is still growing and there's still, you know, expansion needed. So I just didn't understand that play.
Yeah, her PR team's like, you gotta say something. But
Right.
again, I agree with Shantae. I don't think she just told the truth.
Right.
And you know, sometimes telling the truth, it gets you in trouble. So, you know, hopefully these ladies that got cut, either you know, they get a chance to go overseas and sign a deal overseas, and just keep kind of working. Like, you know, obviously it sucks to kind of get cut from a team, but it's the reality of the situation. There's not that many spots here, and the
Right.
coaches will rather go with veterans as opposed to, you know, rookies. So much love to all the ladies that kind of got cut, and hopefully they'll find their ways and eventually end up on some, you know, some good teams, whether
Yeah.
that be overseas or wherever that may be, you know.
Right.
So obviously I know we are Liberty fans. We're from New York, so we had the chance to watch last week the New York play their first. So before we seen them play their first home game, we watched them on the road for the first time, and
Right.
we can clearly tell that the first game they had to get some jitters out.
Yeah, like they were still, getting to know each other, build chemistry, because they
Right.
have a lot of moving pieces, great moving pieces, but it was very obvious like they were still, getting to know one another on the floor.
That's a fact. So yeah, they kind of bummed it up the first game. Not
They
I'm
did.
just gonna keep it I'm gonna keep it a buck. They kind of bummed it up. But they definitely came back and came home, and a great positive out of the game was that the game was sold out at the Barclays Arena, and they came out guns a blazing. Breanna Stewart had 45 points, and I think 12 rebounds. Like
Yeah.
she was beasting essentially. So it was very good to see how they made such a big kind of transition from game 1 to game 2. So
Yeah.
shout out to the New York Liberty. Really hoping we can get to a game this summer.
Yeah, that's the goal.
To see them in person, but very, very good to see them on the up and up, essentially.
And a lot of people were there. There were some NBA players in the audience watching. Yep. It was a big turnout. Like Brittany said, it was. We saw a post that said it was sold out. There was a lot of fans in the building, just really excited about the season. So I think that's also really telling about the support that they're going to get throughout the summer and then going into September. So it's just an exciting time in New York, especially for the WNBA. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, we are looking forward to it. Also, obviously, shout outs to Brittany Griner. She was welcomed back at the first home game last weekend for the Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah.
And, that was obviously very exciting to see, after all the stuff that she's been through.
Yeah.
So shout out to BG.
She was fucking trash too. She been killing. I mean, granted, the season just started, but she's averaging like 20 points a game.
That's fire.
So
that's fire. Just one more thing I wanted to add, because I got a bone to pick with the WNBA. For the first time, I purchased the WNBA League Pass.
Oh, I forgot about that.
The other day. Okay, so y'all could call me a supporter because I'm trying to support the ladies out here.
For sure.
But I found it very disappointing that I wanted to watch the Liberty, right? That's basically one of the reasons why I got the League Pass, because I don't live in the city. I don't have the YES Network, and I can't access all of their games when they play. Brought the League Pass. Essentially, the other day, the Liberty had a game, and I went into my account, and they basically said the stream is not available because it is being broadcasted on CBS. What do you mean it's being broadcasted on CBS? I brought the League Pass so I can access the stream.
Access it here. Yeah.
How are you not allowing me to watch the stream? I don't care if it's on CBS. Y'all should be streaming the game too. What is that about? I was tight.
I know. I forgot you was gonna bring it up today. I don't know. No.
Y'all gotta do better with that.
And then let's talk about how we had to find it during the Liberty second game, the home game we just mentioned. We had a hard time finding these games.
That's a fact.
They're on networks. I'm like, I've never heard of.
What is an ion? I know what that means in science. I know what an ion is in science.
All right, Brittany. Okay? Good night.
But Ion TV? What the?
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, they got to do better. And then having the games on simultaneously with the men's games.
Yeah,
so then you gotta choose, and
Come on, y'all gotta do a better. Y'all need to do better scheduling wise, because That's not really good. And also, I'm gonna just say this because I watched this lady play, Areke. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Arike Owali. I'm gonna just say Owali because I don't know how to say the whole last name.
Yeah, oof, is right.
Watching her play, it just makes me excited because she's out there getting buckets in a number of ways. Mid-range, shooting threes, getting to the basket,
Yeah,
get to the free throw line. Like, I'm gonna say she gunning for MVP this year.
yeah, she's a
I'm gonna
killer.
make an early prediction because what I've just seen in these past couple of games, she's been
She's
killing.
not playing with y'all,
Nah, she's not.
and I
She
love to
really,
see it. And a lot of these women out here are talking a lot of trap. The season just started, and I love to see the competitiveness. Like,
right.
speaking of Enrique, like she was dapping people up in the crowd after turning around gunning these threes. Like, there's a lot of trash talking going on, but that's just signs of competitiveness. And if it's starting off this way, I can only imagine how it's going. The season going to end. So that's good to see. I mean, we've seen it, you know, throughout the whole entire college season. So for this to roll into the professional season is good to see.
No, it
These
really
women
is.
want to win.
No, that's a fact. So looking forward to continuing to watch her play throughout the season. I'm just excited about WNBA basketball, but y'all gotta get that league pass correct because that blew my mind the other day. I was pretty upset. But moving on, LSU women's basketball made their way to the White House. Did you see that one of them fainted?
No.
Yeah, one of them fainted during during the presentation. I forget her name, but I seen a clip and she just kind of like fell back and
Oh wow. I hope she's okay. But no,
yeah,
I did not see that.
yeah. So you know,
Um,
that kind of I was a little scared.
yeah, I didn't see that. But yeah, I mean, we just reporting on this because it was this whole conversation I saw happen at the end of the season when LSU played Iowa. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, and that whole debacle. If you recall, Angel Reese was like, "We not going to the White House." We covered that a few months ago. We just, updating y'all. They went to the White House, and I think this happened a couple of days ago. So, just again, want to give a congratulations to LSU women's basketball team winning a national championship. And shout outs to just the women there, honestly, on the team. They showed nothing but class and professionalism. Even after all the things that transpired, at the end of the day, the biggest lesson I think to take from that is you may have to take one for the team. It's bigger than you,
Right.
and that's essentially what we're watching, right? Angel Reese definitely probably still didn't want to go, but she did mention in an interview that she's doing this for her team.
Right.
And that's what this sport and what sports is all about in the first place. So that's the lesson. Shouts to y'all. Yeah.
Right. You got to do what you don't want to do sometimes.
That's a
So
life lesson.
it sure is. It sure is. It's a lesson I'm trying to teach my 4-year-old right now
Ray's funny.
because he don't want to do nothing. He don't want to do.
Ray's something else.
But kind of moving on. Yeah, I know we champion obviously women's sports, but obviously there's always some headlines within the men's sports arena that needs to be kind of showcased and talked about. So after 19 years, Carmelo Anthony has finally decided to officially retire. And I thought Carmelo still had some gas in the tank.
He
You know?
did, but they did him wrong.
Yeah.
NBA, yeah, I did Melo wrong.
Yeah. So, he
Mhm.
finally put out his retirement video. It was a really nice video. And basically saying that his son Cayenne, you're now my legacy, and you're gonna continue to kind of essentially, you know, carry my name on. So I was a big Carmelo Anthony fan. I actually got
Denver
to watch.
Nuggets.
Huh?
I'm just thinking about the Denver Nuggets jersey. And jerseys
Right.
are really heavy in New York. It's just everywhere.
That was fire.
Yep, the baby blue with the gold yellow, like the yellow, rich
Yes.
yellow.
Yes.
Come on,
Fire.
look ahead, my bad.
Fire. No, but I've gotten a chance to see him kind of, from high school. I watched him play against my brother a few times in high school. And then, he went to Syracuse, won a championship there.
Great game.
And then, came into the league. He was on New York at one point, but just shout out to Carmelo. I got a chance to meet him this summer. I gave him one of my books. I really wish I could have took a picture with this guy. Wham wham. It was just too many people around.
It was.
You know how people act when they see a celebrity. So
yeah.
it was cool. But shout out to Carmelo. I'm still hoping that he's out here, like, obviously leaving his imprint on the next generation, because I think he can also be kind of like a skill development coach, like how Kobe was for a lot of upcoming talent. So he has one of the greatest like mid-range games ever. So yeah, shout out to Carmelo. And we definitely look forward to watching his son kind of continue to develop and grow. We got a chance to watch him this summer. I mean, this past December too at the EYBL. The Jordan December Classic, Christmas Classic. So that was really good to see. So
I think he just transferred too.
Yeah, he just transferred, I think, to Lehigh.
Yeah.
High school from Christ the King. So
yes.
Look forward to kind of just keeping up with him. So and moving along, I don't know if y'all been watching the NBA series, but yesterday the Eastern Conference Finals has been a tug of war. Right? Like yesterday was probably one of the best games that was probably in the series. So essentially, just to give y'all some context, Miami went up 3-0, right? Like 3-0. And then these past 3 games, the Celtics have won.
Boston been waking up. Right.
So yesterday, they essentially won the game at the buzzer, like literally with 0.2 seconds left to
box out, no nothing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this is the takeaway from here. The person taking the ball out is the most dangerous person on the court. Okay. The dude Derek White was the person that took the ball out, passed it to Marcus Smart. First and foremost, that shot was a little bit crazy for me. I didn't think Marcus Smart should have been the person to take that shot.
Yeah.
But, it happened. Ball went in, out, inbounded, didn't get boxed out, got the rebound, went up, made a little layup, won the game for them. So tomorrow we talking game 7
in Boston.
Right.
Okay. It's gonna be a tough game. I think it's gonna be entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Watch.
So yeah, check that. We gonna be tuned.
If they win tomorrow, that's gonna be
It's gonna be historic because no team has ever come down.
Nobody has done that.
No.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
So if Boston can pull it off tomorrow at their home, that'll be something.
Yeah.
Looking forward to watching that game tomorrow. So yeah, so that was our sports news for today. We're going to roll into NIL. Again, NIL just means name, image, and likeness. In 2021, policies were passed for essentially student athletes to finally monetize their name, image, and likeness. If you're not aware, like this conversation about student athletes getting compensated has been going on for a very, very long time. So just within, the past 2 years, it has happened, and, these kids are kind of reaping the benefits. So our first kind of article is that the House proposal would give NCAA everything it wants with federal NIL reform. So Shantae, can you go into this a little bit?
Yeah. So basically, I want to sum it up first. So
Yeah.
a bill was passed. So right now we don't have like a federal bill that covers all the states. As of right now, like we've been talking about, every state has its own NIL legislation or policy in play. And so um the NCAA has been kind of pushing for courts to come up with an overall rule um, that encompasses obviously things that would benefit the NCAA or protect them, for lack of better words. And so this week, the NCAA submitted a bill um, that was really aimed at NIL collectives. And it's just another attempt, according to Mitt Winter, and he's a big sports attorney. Shouts to Mitt Winter. But nonetheless, he mentioned that it's just an attempt to move things backward instead of working on a new model that reflects reality. And so, the most significant portion of the bill or the proposal will create a new regulatory body where student athletes would essentially have to show their terms of their contract or like submit to the body, like a governing body, their contract, um and put it out on display, for lack of better words, making it available for everyone to see. um Also, another part of the proposal was that you essentially wouldn't be able to sue the NCAA because basically your deal didn't go the way it wanted to. um It also includes a new, like I just mentioned, a new regulatory body tasked with establishing and enforcing rules pertaining to collectives, boosters, and student athlete endorsement contracts. Um, what else? Like I just mentioned, student athletes who enter into a contract will be required to report their agreement to the new governing body. Um, a provision clarifying that student athletes are not eligible for employee status. That has been really big. A lot of people have been pushing for student athletes to be viewed as employees rather than like independent contractors in a sense. And so to give a broad, like a really high level overview, like an employee, every state has its own rules on how to like identify who's an employee and who's like an independent contractor. Usually one is an employee when a employer or a place of employment is exerting a lot of control over an individual. And so a lot of people have been arguing that universities and colleges do exert a lot of control over student athletes. They tell you the GPA that you have to to maintain in order to continue to play. They tell you, how many credits you need to graduate. Like they just really controlling student athletes. And so they're saying that, student athletes should be viewed as employees. And because of this, that they should be entitled to like workers' compensation if they get hurt. That's just one example. So I just wanted to pull that out and explain that. And another proposal within the bill is language providing liability protection to protect institutions from frivolous litigation. Basically, litigation that would just be a waste of time and money and resources. Um, I say all this to say that all of the um, all of those points that may be mentioned in the proposal are things that the NCAA has been wanting for a very long time. A lot of attorneys weighed in and said that they don't think that this is necessarily going to happen. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, we're going to keep our ear to the ground and see what happens. But as of right now, there's no federal law in place. Every state is still creating legislation around what the NIL looks like in their state. And it's best for student athletes, coaches, and parents to really adhere to, the rules and regulations to the state that they live in and will be playing in short.
Okay.
I know
mean,
that
that
was a
kind
lot,
of,
but yes.
but I mean, that kind of further like rolls into the next kind of like article with, the SEC commissioner, Greg Sankey, kind of saying like, yo, they want uniformity, right? Like,
Yeah.
adhering to your state's set of rules is what you have to do now. But he, as a commissioner of the SEC, he's like, we need uniformity.
Yeah. It would
So,
be easier to track. That's part of what he's saying. Because obviously the SEC and all these other conferences are made up of several different schools in several different states. So, you have to track all of that. But yeah, he's essentially, oh, my computer is updating. He's essentially saying what I just mentioned with what the NCAA is asking for or pushing for. He wants student athletes to be more transparent about the terms of their contracts, submit their contracts to a governing body. He wants all student athletes to go through like economic courses so they understand the value of money and how to handle their money, which is educational, which is what all the student athletes needed in the first place. But he is really pushing for a federal law, one federal law that governs NIL in short. So he's not the only one. There's also the ACC commissioner, Jim Phillips, that's also pushing the same NIL standard. So it just seems like a lot of conference commissioners are pushing for a federal bill so that they can keep track of everything, but it's not necessarily in the student athlete's best interest at this point. So very interested to see how this all pans out. Again, right now, we just doing it state by state. So
right. Well, let's just see how this continues to evolve. Very interested to see how this continues to evolve.
yeah,
And rolling along, I don't know what episode we reported on talking about Hunter Dickinson, making his way from Michigan to Kansas because he wanted a bigger paycheck. But this is in line with that same kind of ethos. So Cam Spencer, who is apparently Rutgers men's basketball leading scorer, has announced his decision to enter the transfer portal. And basically his reason, like I just mentioned, he wants a bigger paycheck. So the guard left the Scarlet Knights basically for a larger NIL package that he wants to kind of pursue, essentially.
yeah.
And me and Shantae talk about this all the time. It's like, go get your bag, right? Like, but it's gonna come to a point where I think that these student athletes are gonna be acting like prima donnas, pretty much.
Some of them already there.
Right. Like it's I mean, you still come into school to ball. Like, you still got stuff to do, right? Like, aside from you getting these NIL deals, which is tremendous for y'all, like getting money and doing all that stuff, you still got to adhere to the academics. You still got to make sure you're doing your work in the classroom and stuff like that. And I think sometimes, the money can kind of like stray you away from understanding that you're still a student athlete, essentially, right? Um, but this was another kind of like just funny instance of like student athletes talking about I want a bigger paycheck to kind of so I'm leaving the school.
I mean, yeah, I yes, and I can understand to a certain extent because it's like, I mean, I'm a play devil's advocate a little bit. We always talk about, thinking beyond the sport, and that's
Right.
essentially what they are doing. They're like, let me get this bag because it's beyond these 4 years, and I gotta
Right.
make sure that economically I'm in the best position possible because I don't know what's gonna happen after these four. Um,
Right.
so I'm not mad at it. I thought the article was very interesting because um, it talks about Rutgers Collective, Knights of the Raritan,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the name of the collective, and how they allocate funds for NIL like amongst the different sports at Rutgers, and so um, the president of the collective made mention of the fact that the price tag is $10 million that they trying to like collect to then allocate to different student athletes at Rutgers, and that $6 to $7 million is put towards football. It's a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
and another $2 million for basketball, and then the rest is allocated to the remaining sports. And so that's what they're working on. Like they're working on getting that money to then be able to really allocate and then keep student athletes at Rutgers so they can be competitive.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, this is just very telling because there's a lot of schools. I mean, we talked about Syracuse, with Jim Boeheim. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about a couple of schools where student athletes are leaving because their collectives aren't doing all that they can do to keep their star players happy. So it's just a very interesting time. That's why I'm over here cheesing because this is something that we would talk about, in professional sports. But now we're talking about this on another level. So collectives, I don't know what to tell y'all. This is about to be interesting. It's about to be interesting, but I appreciate Rutgers being transparent about the amount of money that they're trying to raise. I don't want to say raise, but get to then allocate. So it's a lot
Yeah.
of
I mean, look here. I'm gonna say one of the universities that kind of really went in on NIL and basically the transfer portal this year was Villanova men's basketball.
we did
Like
mention that. Yep.
they have secured, I would probably say about 3 or 4 really, really good players. And obviously that comes with the NIL.
But Brittany, do you want to talk about the alumni? Because to give y'all context, I went with Brittany to a Rutgers game. What was this? A few months ago, and was really looking at how involved the alumni was with just sports in general and how they support Rutgers basketball, and
Oh
like
yes,
those alumni are important, and so that's also something to keep in mind when we're talking about like collectives and stuff and boosters and all of those things also are circled around alumni
that's a
and
fact.
alumni giving back and supporting the athletics department in whatever university they went to.
Look here. I mean, that's a very big piece, right? Like Villanova's alumni to current student athlete reach is very strong, essentially. And I'll just say this: a lot of the coaches on the Villanova men's staff have either played together, like played on a team at Villanova, or were a part of the coaching staff when the team did go to the championship.
Mm.
So like it's a very close knit kind of like just body.
Yeah.
Like also for Rutgers, they're always trying to advocate for alumni to come back, not just give back like monetarily, but come back and actually, have spaces where you can talk to the coaches, the current coaches. I actually just missed one of our calls that we were having, where Coquise Washington basically just wanted to introduce herself to the former alum that used to play under Coach Stringer, essentially. So every year they've been doing that, essentially to try to keep that tight knit pipeline. And I think that's important, right? Like,
Sure.
you need to see the people who went before you, right? Like, and have them come back and support you, because that means everything, right? Like, like when you playing bad, they come back and they rip you apart. We don't play like that. Like we got pride. We play with more pride than that. So it goes both ways, right? They come back to show support, but they also come back to kind of like keep you accountable and keep you responsible for kind of like carrying on the legacy of what it is that they kind of built. So, and then we talked about this, I don't know how many episodes ago, how Andy Dalton, former TCU alumni, has pretty much garnered NIL package for the entire student athlete population at TCU, right?
Which is exactly what we're talking about. Like, it's like, okay, like, not only am I supporting these student athletes, but that may also trigger other alumni to participate.
Correct.
So
Correct.
It's just a pipeline, right? So alumni are going to be really key, I think, in the NIL space. It has been thus far, so
yeah,
let's see what happens.
It's going to continue to trickle and kind of just, tumbleweed along. So, yeah, alumni, come on, let's get it. Yeah, I got especially like if you're a big alumni, like you could come back and kind of like entice these kids to, be a little bit more persuasive than the regular person.
Right. That's what what's his name is doing? Gordon with LSU.
Right.
He's an alumni of LSU. And he's been, early on, we saw Gordon just out here just signing every LSU athlete you can imagine to market on behalf of his law firm. So, yes, I'm with Brittany. Alumni are really, really important, really big in the NIL. So
that's a fact. So, come on, alumni, do what you got to do. But moving along, I don't know how many times we're gonna have to bring this young lady up, but she's just continuing to kind of set the standard. So obviously, we just spoke about how LSU women's basketball won the national championship, and they just were obviously at the White House. But Angel Reese has signed another NIL deal. This is with hair care brand Mielle.
Yes. Mielle. Listen,
Mielle.
That's a big deal. I think it still is Black owned.
Okay.
Black owned hair care line. I feel like they just got bought by Procter and Gamble. But nonetheless, this is a big deal. There's a lot of brand ambassadors for Mielle, and I don't know if they've ever really tapped into the NIL market by utilizing a student athlete as of yet. So this is a really big deal, especially because Reese, Angel just during the season, she was talking about how women student athletes are the best marketers for fashion and hair care and everything else and glam. So this is right on par what she was saying a few months ago. I don't know what number NIL deal is. I ain't pocket watching, but I am. But she's coming up really big, and she's just been killing it in this space. So uh, she's
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. Her NIL evaluation, it just keep going up.
Yeah, and it's gonna keep going
No, that's a fact. So,
up.
she got to take advantage of every moment that she's given right now. Like we talk about this all the time. You never know when you're gonna be done, right?
Yeah.
I was just reading, and this is like kind of tangential, but I was just reading an article talking about how the Chicago Bulls think that Lonzo Ball may never play again, like because of the complications he's had with his knees and
Yeah.
the injuries he's had with his knees. So it's like, make sure you taking full advantage of the opportunities when you hot. Like when you hot, you gotta make sure you go
Take advantage of it.
full throttle. Like full throttle, because everybody has their window of opportunity, right? Like you ain't gonna be hot forever. And you just got to try to capitalize and take advantage of as much as you can while you're in that window. So I'm happy to see Angel Reese continuing to just garner more influence, essentially. So she's setting the standard for sure in NIL.
Sure. Yeah.
And then another black brand, Bevel. I've definitely gotten Austin a Bevel shaver, and he loves it. Yeah. So, 2024 4-star quarterback Elijah Brown signs an NIL deal with Bevel. And they're essentially just a black-owned kind of what is this called? They're shaving company.
It's still beauty. I know men don't like to say beauty, but it's in the market of beauty and hair care.
Right.
So
essentially it's a men's shaving company. And they feature skin and beard products. This is also owned by Procter and Gamble. Procter and Gamble's out here making moves. Like that's crazy.
I'm watching. I got my eye.
Right. But I definitely seen him do that little commercial on IG. Like,
oh, really?
With the Bevel kit. Like he essentially was he was working out or something like that, and then he was like, I'm feeling kind of slowed down today. Like I'm feeling slowed down. He's like, I think I need to go shave so I can be a little lighter. So he basically goes to the bathroom, does his little touch up, blah blah blah, and then gets back into the workout. And he's like, oh man, I feel much faster.
Oh, now I gotta check it out. After this live, I'm gonna go look for it.
So it was I thought it was a pretty cool little commercial. But yeah, shout out to having, more black brands put on, get ambassadors to give them exposure. I think this is the way to grow, essentially. So yeah, man, that's obviously a good move. And last but not least, we've definitely been reporting on Oklahoma and them trying to push this SB 840 bill through. So last time we spoke about how the governor was like, I'm not putting this through, but now Oklahoma legislator has come in and override his veto to the
NIL. They was like, boy, please. Like, right. Like, we gonna pass this here bill. So they're gonna pass the bill. It's gonna be a game-changing bill. It's going to really make it not hard, but put the universities in Oklahoma in the best position possible to really capitalize off of NIL, which is great for both them and student athletes. And I think more universities, and not just universities, but more states are going to follow suit. We talked about Texas following in the same footsteps. So, yeah, shout out to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma said, Remember Jamie Foxx? No,
Can't
we
even.
putting it through.
Yeah.
We putting it through. So shout out to Oklahoma because they're not with the BS.
None of
Okay.
that. They're like, nah, forget
Um,
that.
but SB 840,
Yeah.
we here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see how
So that was essentially our NIL segment. Now we're shifting into NFTs and Web3 kind of tech. It's 7:55 right now, so we'll be here for another about 25-30 minutes. So keep tagging along with us. But yeah, I know Bitcoin uh is essentially the largest kind of capped cryptocurrency on the market right now.
hmm
So if you can earn Bitcoin while actually not really doing anything, that's probably one of the the best things that you could possibly do.
Yeah.
So we basically seen that you can earn Bitcoin by playing mobile solitaire games. Wow. See,
Yeah.
I don't really play solitaire.
But remember, see, and now we about to like age ourselves because like remember like when solitaire was a big thing with like computers and
I
everybody is playing
I
solitaire.
do.
Yeah, we don't play solitaire like that no more. But whoever does, you have the opportunity to make some Bitcoin. It's not a lot. So the
Right.
person that wrote the article essentially tested out three different platforms, or not apps, but three different platforms that you can, or games you can find in your local app store. One being Thunder Games Club Bitcoin Solitaire. That's the name of it.
Mm.
Bling Financials Bitcoin Solitaire and Viker Solitaire Card Game 2023. And so
Yeah,
the
you're
writer,
not gonna make no money.
yeah, you're not. The writer of the article mentioned that he played for like 2 hours and made less than 15 cents worth
Oh God.
in Bitcoin. So like he essentially was like, it's not really worth it, but hopefully it'll get to a point where I guess they're offering a little bit more. Um, but I just thought that was interesting, and I'm interested in seeing if other games or companies kind of follow suit to get more people to download their apps and you know purchase things on their apps so you can get Bitcoin.
Right.
You're basically wasting your time on playing games.
I mean, people gonna play games anyway, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna play games, you might as well earn something. So that's essentially called play to earn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, there are also apps that also allow you to get Bitcoin while you're shopping. So one that I really know of is, and that's really legit, is Lolly.
Mm-hmm.
So they give you a whole bunch of different obviously entities that you already kind of shop with. Like I remember I brought my son some Nike sandals essentially, and you get a piece anytime you go through their platform. You'll get a small share of Bitcoin for going through their platform and using the Lolly. And
Mm-hmm.
then so I mean, it's not that much. It's not that significant, but I mean, if you do it over time, I mean,
Yeah.
you probably you have a little stack,
Right.
and you didn't even really do anything for it. Like you already doing what you do. So,
Right.
um, playing to earn or just like shopping to earn, I think those are definitely going to be big kind of plays, like you said, for entities wanting people to kind of like download their apps more so in the future and just getting more engagement on their platform. So
Mm-hmm.
um you know check that out. I mean, our next article talks about how Grand Theft Auto may be becoming a play to earn game essentially,
Mm-hmm.
right? So rumors are basically out that the highly anticipated game Grand Theft Auto 6 will be a blockchain game or include some type of cryptocurrency that can be redeemed in real life. You know, so this again is coming up. Like this was happening in 2021 when they thought this was going to be a thing, and now it's coming up again, right? Like, so, you know, this may be a trend that we see moving forward. You know, if I win money in the game and I can redeem it in real life, I think that's
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, it brings another element, as we always talk about, just another experience, a different experience. Um, but yeah, they haven't solidified, they haven't confirmed any of the rumors circulating. Um, so I guess we'll have to see if they implement that in Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto has been around for a very long time,
Yo,
and it's been
it's
crazy.
Grand
It's
Theft Auto is like Fast and Furious. It's like it's not going nowhere.
it's
Like,
not going anywhere, and there's a lot of real hardcore GTA fans.
right.
Uh, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be cool to see if, in fact, they actually do implement or put this on the blockchain. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. All the GTA fans, keep us abreast. All right. And just kind of moving on to like a financial institution. So again, we've been always talking about like artificial intelligence and what that's gonna do within this next decade. So you have to follow what the big guys are doing, essentially, right? Like follow the money to see where the future is gonna go, right? So
hmm
JP Morgan's definitely they filed a patent for a chat GPT finance clone called Index GPT.
hmm
Wow. So essentially the the financial giant JP Morgan has filed a trademark application for a finance themed chatbot called Index GPT early this month. According to the application filed on May 11th with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the chatbot would be used for advertising and marketing services, an index of security values, and online financial information and investment advice.
hmm
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. In a February survey by JP Morgan, more than half of the institution's traders surveyed that artificial intelligence and machine learning would be the most influential technology in shaping the future of trading over the next 3 years. Wow.
Short
Um,
period.
right. The
hmm
financial industry has been particularly interested in AI's ability to process data. In March, an artificial intelligence engineer in the UK, Mayo Ocean, developed a bot named after Buffett to analyze large financial documents. While AI continues into the mainstream, more and more voices are sounding the alarm about the potential harm of unregulated artificial intelligence, including Microsoft President Brad Smith.
Yeah.
Um, this is wild that people are potentially creating artificial intelligence bots that kind of give them financial advice or can predict financial outcomes. Like if that ain't white collar, like,
Yeah. It's.
like
I don't
how
know what to make of that.
that will be giving people a real kind of advantage, essentially.
Or disadvantage.
Well,
Because
yeah, I mean that shows that you don't know nothing.
and you should still probably do your own research. Um because we don't know, like, obviously the AI, the chat box is going to be garnering different data, um but you're also going to always probably going to want to cross reference and check that that information is correct. Even with chat GPT, we've reported how there was a law professor, I forget what state it was in or what country, where chat GPT was essentially claiming that he participated in sexual conduct
Right.
misconduct that he did
Sexual
not even
assault.
participate in. That's what he's stating, allegedly. And
Right.
so I still like to say you're still gonna have to put the work in to, and do your due diligence and making sure that the information that's provided to you is correct. And I don't, and call me a pessimist, I don't think people are going to do that. I think people are going to rely on Index GPT, just like we often rely on like our banking institutions and other financial institutions that give us this information about what we should be investing in long term and stuff like that for retirement and things of that nature without us even lifting a finger to really do research anyway and to see what these things are about. So I don't think this is going to be any different.
Correct. Correct. And I think also too, obviously, I definitely also agree that machine learn like anything that has to do with artificial intelligence and machine learning is definitely going to be extremely influential within these next 5 years. Like, I mean, I was just talking about the other day how Nvidia, the semiconductor company, jumped based on its earnings the other day. Like the earnings report for Nvidia came out, and literally, I'm wondering why my phone is buzzing. Like my phone is buzzing. I'm like, what is going on? So I see that essentially, like Nvidia, they basically surpassed estimates for like annual revenue. And in the aftermarket, $305 share of Nvidia went to $380.
Yeah, it was jumping.
Like literally overnight. So it's really kind of anything within the semiconductor space, anything that has to do with chips. So like Nvidia, AMD, Taiwan Semiconductor, all of these things are going to be really integral because they play a part in the building of the computers and being able to kind of like progress the technology. So
right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big deal. So y'all should keep your eyes on, companies like that are just kind of within this technology semiconductor kind of field, because it's gonna get really real.
Yeah, it is.
Essentially. So yeah, and then I'm laughing that Shaq got served while broadcasting.
We've been talking about this though for a while. The FTX scandal happened a hot minute ago.
Yeah, Shaq
and he's been ducking the smoke for a long time. They served his behind during the NBA game.
You gotta
at
do
the FTX arena.
Right. Ain't that funny? Like that's
why I'm like, that's crazy. And that's a little petty, but it's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So he got served.
Shaq basically finally got served for his part in the FTX debacle.
Yeah, he was with all the rest of the celebrities that were supposed to get penalized because of just their lack of disclosure and all these other things with FTX, and they have not been able to serve him the complaint and the summons and verified complaint, but they finally got him. I think last week, during Miami's game, and he's also in hot water because he had an NFT project called the Astrals. And apparently the NFTs in that project are supposed to be viewed as securities, and they weren't. It was not, and so he's facing 2 lawsuits at the same time, basically. And it's not funny. I'm chuckling, but it's really not funny. I'm laughing because he was ducking service, but he got 2 lawsuits going on at the same time. So yeah, the Astrals was a Solana-based NFT project, and it was comprised of 10,000 NFTs. our avatars, and now we're
Shaq, just own up, okay? Just do what you gotta do.
yeah.
Like,
So
if you
we'll
gonna
keep you
lose
posted
money,
about that. But I did see that some of the lawyers were like, we think it's kind like literally they was like, this is literally ridiculous how we've had to chase Mr. O'Neal for the past several months. And so yeah,
yo,
that's how it be. They served him at work.
that's what he was doing. He was like,
Yo,
I'm ducking, I'm
out of
dodging.
control. Out of control.
Yeah, he gotta face up. Just take accountability, all right?
Right.
It's happened to a lot of these celebrities.
Right.
They, y'all not really informed and y'all just thinking it's gonna be a bag attached to it. So like
Right.
just do your DD, please. All right. Don't just hop in. Do your DD.
Right.
Okay. But that wraps up our Web3 and kind of like tech news, and it's on to the business of culture. So obviously, most people know that Adidas and Kanye had a really nasty breakup, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And based off of that breakup, Adidas suffered tremendously economically, right? Like they weren't able to kind of sell off the rest of their inventory that had to deal with the Yeezy brand. So obviously they had to come back to Kanye. They could not do this without Kanye. And, obviously they've been in talks with Kanye to come back and, be an ambassador so that they can get this inventory off. But essentially during that entire debacle, Adidas froze $75 million in Kanye's bank accounts, essentially.
Yeah.
Associated with Yeezy brand. And now we've gotten information that the judge has overturned Adidas court order for freezing that $75 million.
Yeah. And it's really because Adidas attorneys didn't procedurally do what they needed to do. They kind of went and did some under the table stuff. And so I'm trying to hold on.
Right.
Yeah. So the article was saying a week after the federal case against Yeezy was made public, the judge, whose name is Valerie Caproni, ruled that Adidas have failed to confirm the order against Yeezy with additional proceedings in court. They were supposed to go back to court, which is a key requirement under the state law that allows such assets to be frozen. I'm assuming this is in California. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, it's a requirement in whatever state that this lawsuit, this suit was brought in. And so the judge ended up lifting the bank accounts, and apparently this was supposed to happen months ago. But it's just now coming to the surface now, and they are unfreezing those accounts. And again, this happened because Adidas failed to file a motion to confirm the nullification of the order. And Yeezy and Kanye West is not off the hook. There's a whole arbitration case that was filed by Adidas, so that's still happening. And the original reason as to why the arbitration case was even began is so that Adidas could have to freeze the accounts that we're talking about now. So all of this is still pending. All of this is still ongoing. We're still gonna have to see how this plays out, but yeah.
Kanye, go get your money back.
Yeah. And he can still owe some money. That's what the article was explaining as well. He can still owe some money, and Adidas can owe him some money still. So there's still a lot that still needs to be figured out. But yeah.
Wow.
They definitely need Yeezy though. They need Kanye West. But This has been a very messy breakup, like Brittany mentioned. Very messy. And,
Yeah, they needed Kanye. Like, eh, how you gonna try to sell his product and he's not on board with you?
I don't know
They
what
thought
was
they
in
could
their
do it.
agreement, and that's another thing. Like, we don't know what was in their initial agreement for that to have happened, but yeah, like Brittany mentioned, as we see, Adidas is having a very hard time moving them sneakers, moving them products. So, right,
Because they can't move the weight. They can't move it.
basically they can't move it, and they having a very difficult time. So,
Come back to me.
yeah, just get on your knees and cry. Beg for me to come back.
Right. So yeah, that's that. EA Sports. It's in the game. Remember that?
Yes, of course. Of course I do.
So basically, EA Sports, they about to allow college football players and athletes to opt into the 2024 video game.
Like, imagine all the other games we had. We had all those NCAA video games back in the day on PlayStation.
Right. That's fire. So you have the opportunity to opt into the program if you want to or not, right?
Yeah. So they can make money in there or not. And yeah, everybody obviously is not going to be chosen. That's what they also mentioned. And a spokesperson told ESPN that some athletes may have their faces scanned to show likeness, but that every athlete may not get a scan, as there are thousands of football players across the country that could potentially opt into the game. This is fire. This is fire. I could get paid because y'all using my likeness in a video game finally.
Right. I mean, I think that's only right.
It's lit.
Imagine
playing. Come on, you playing video games. You see yourself and you getting paid.
Yeah,
that hits a little. That has to hit a little different.
That's revolutionary. I'm here for it.
So we just wanted to highlight that. That's fire. Shouts to EA Sports to finally getting on board and paying these people. And good luck to those football players that are that opt in and tap in, and are chosen to be in EA Sports 2024 football college video game.
No, that's I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And moving along, I'm gonna have to say, What's Love Got to? Is that the one where Angela Bassett plays Tina Turner?
Yeah.
Probably. You know how? What was that? That network. So I know everybody's watched the Jacksons and American Dream movie, right?
You should see it.
Right. So that's kind of like how I view that movie too. Like Angela Bassett playing Tina Turner. What's Love Got to Do with it? Like, I could watch that over and over and over and over and over again, essentially. But we lost the icon this week. Tina Turner, she passed away at 83 years old. Having a conversation with my mom, I think she was suffering from some like kidney issues over the last couple of years. So that's very unfortunate, but living to 83, I think that's pretty,
That's a nice full life.
Right.
I just want to say, like, without Tina Turner, your favorites, people's favorites, would not be who they were. Like, Beyonce wouldn't be who she was without a Tina Turner. So much respect to Tina Turner. She endured a lot in her lifetime, but still persevered. I heard her autobiography is fire, like her book. I heard her book is great. And that, What's Love Got to Do with It, the actual movie that we were just talking about, doesn't even do the book justice, and doesn't really highlight everything that she has had to endure in her life. But everybody that was interviewed about Tina Turner, even before her passing, has had beautiful things to say about her. And that speaks a lot to her as a person, even after everything that she's been through.
Right. Right.
So yeah, just wanted to give Tina Turner her flowers. She's done a lot for music.
And she's also done a lot for like Buddhism too. Like a lot of people.
She is one of the, I don't know, like she's beloved in the Buddhist or Buddhist community. Excuse me. And yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a fact. She like I remember, so my husband, he's he's a Buddhist, in and out of practice, but nevertheless he is one. And I remember he came home, like when I first got introduced to it by him, they have a chant essentially, or this sector of Buddhism, they have a chant and it's called Nam Myo Renge Yo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hold up, ain't that the same chant Tina Turner was doing in the movie?
Yeah.
And obviously educating myself, it was the same kind of chant. So like if you ever hear this lady chant, like it's really crazy. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels like it feels like I go into like a trance when I hear her chant, because
Yeah.
obviously she's been doing it for a long time, so it comes very natural to her. But yeah, if you watch any type of like old Larry King interviews with her on there and she's chanting, like it's a powerful experience, to be quite honest. So
I
yeah,
think
shout out.
something about that helped her get out of her domestic violence situation. So
I'm very sure.
that definitely, what you just said resonates as to why it would be, powerful. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah. So beautiful woman, super talented woman, groundbreaking human being. And she's gonna be missed, and we appreciate your impact and everything that you've done for not just the music community, but for just people around the world. She was loved throughout the world. So
Right.
she's gonna be missed, and thank you, Tina Turner.
That's a fact. Salute to an icon, salute to a legend. Praying for her family, and just, she left a legacy here that will kind of carry on to the end of time. So
For sure.
just wanted to kind of pay homage to Tina Turner, and yeah, and that's kind of like wraps up our show. Kind of just
Really,
wanted
we made it. We got two different. We did something different today. We made it all the way to the end. So this is great.
That's a fact. And just kind of wanted to make an announcement. So essentially, we're very big on like kind of like partnering with people who, kind of just share our same kind of ethos and attitude. So we're essentially partnering and coming on board with 9450 Network. That is
450.
that is currently being hosted by Daniel Artest. And we just wanted to give him a shout out. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, Danny, thank you.
We think it's going to be an amazing kind of collaboration. He's all for kind of just moving and progressing women's basketball. And, we always talk about how we're trying to garner and make sure like the next generation of student athletes, especially women athletes, are kind of like in good hands. So shout out to Danny Artest. Really can't wait until we really start chopping it up with him and kind of just getting the ball rolling. So yeah,
Be
just
on the
kind
lookout
of
for that.
right. Just watch out for that. Again, as always, supreme gratitude to everybody who kind of just tunes in with us and, listens to what we have to say. We really, really appreciate y'all tremendously. Again, please follow us on all social media platforms. Obviously, IG, Twitter, Facebook is hating right now. They're not letting us create a page, so I don't know what that's about. But we're also on LinkedIn. Please sign up for our newsletter. We have a lot of good things that are going to be going on in the future.
Yeah.
I just got that text. Watermelon Sundays is coming back.
Ooh.
So, we're going to be at
That's
that.
Miguel.
Right. Shout out to Miguel.
That's
Shout out
Miguel.
to Evie.
Yeah.
For putting together that, that community event. So we might I may even think that we should live stream from Watermelon Sunday.
I mean, we should.
One of the, I think
That'd
that would
be
be a
good.
good idea.
Yeah.
So that's coming. Obviously, I told y'all I done partnered with Grow Our Game. It's essentially a nonprofit that's basically giving opportunities to young girls via basketball, but also giving them kind of like enrichment experiences, which is profound because these are the things that we wanted when we were younger. That obviously, we weren't afforded these opportunities. So to be able to see the young ladies getting the opportunity to take advantage of those is very, it's kind of groundbreaking. So
beautiful. Yeah.
Shout out to Janae Jones for founding that company. And yeah, I mean, I think that's all I got for y'all. That's all we got for y'all this week, right? Hopefully this can continue and we can figure out more effective ways for us to broadcast.
We're gonna figure this out.
Right. So, but thank y'all. And
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll probably see y'all in 2 weeks. I think I have another workshop to do next weekend. So we love y'all and we'll see y'all soon. All right. Peace.